Hello everybody and welcome back to the YouTube channel. Nice to see you. Currently I'm hyper focused because my life's on the line. I'm sitting here in Deadman mode on stream, so we've got, a couple of extra overlays on stream or whatever. But I wanted to take the opportunity to tell you guys about Deadman mode just for a second and how it applies to Leagues 3. I'll be the first to admit, I'm an absolute amateur when it comes to Deadman mode. I just decided, hey, temporary game mode, increased experience rates, that sounds like a good time. And so far, I gotta tell you, it absolutely is. The resource that I used to be able to do like anything at all in Deadman mode was Manked Up Mages DMM tutorial. I watched it on stream and I just followed it. It made me a billion times more confident about what I'm doing. And now I'm just having like an amazing time. So I recommend Mank's guide. Today I have to not be happy so I can get you the info as fast as possible. Deadman mode. Why is it like Leagues 3? They completely revamped everything. I never paid attention to Deadman mode, I have to admit. And I kind of wish that I had. It's really cool so far. I love it. But this time around, it's definitely the coolest that it ever has been. This time around, they literally gave all the Deadman players relics. And I think you see where I'm going with this. So, if you don't know anything about Deadman mode, it's okay. Suffice to say, just like take a gander at this list. This is a ton of relics, or as they're known in Deadman mode, sigils, that are available in Deadman mode already. And there's similar ones to what we've had in Leagues in the past, and they all kind of have like really small effects this time. And we know some more information about Leagues 3. We're gonna have relic fragments this time, smaller effects that you then stack together to get bigger set effects. I feel like at least some of these relics that we're getting are gonna be ported directly over to Leagues 3 this time around. And one of the sigils that we're looking at near the end of the video, I think is going to be exactly going to be going over to Leagues 3, and it's going to be huge. While I'm training range in the background of this video, let's talk about the sigils that are currently in Deadman mode. On the screen are the first 3 sigils. You get to choose one of these just right off the bat. This is basically the Charmander, Squirtle, Bulbasaur choice of Deadman mode. And it's just one of the combat types. It amplifies either your range, melee, or magic. I chose magic. These are just like some boosts to combat in one of the attack styles. I don't really think we need to consider these in terms of Leagues 3, because these are kind of very specifically PvP focused. So like if you choose range while you're attacking someone, there's a chance that you can like lower their energy. There's more to it than that, but I'll just mention that because that seems to be all there is to, the PvP aspect. It also like does double damage when they run out of energy. The melee one, there's a 10% chance that you like start fighting faster, which is cool. It lowers your tick speed between weapon swings. In Leagues up until this point, we've seen relics that increase the speed at which you attack. This one's kind of cool because it's RNG when you attack faster. There's a 1 in 10 chance that you start double speed attacking for melee. If we have just a little bit more RNG on these relics, that could be really cool. I think it'd be weirdly more satisfying. I think you'll get more dopamine out of it. And then magic, 10% chance that you do extra damage and heal yourself. That's the one that I currently have. But yeah, let's not spend any more time on these, and let's look at some of the other utility ones, because I think that those might be a little bit more interesting. The sigils kind of have really cool icons, and there's a color coding system. They've got them separated into different types, and there's combat, skilling, and utility. And because this one's red, this is considered a combat sigil. So just keep that in mind for the rest of the video. Skilling is blue, by the way, and utility is yellow. Sigil of Resilience, times 3 HP regeneration. Not unheard of, and that could definitely be a fragment coming over to Leagues 3. Sigil of Consistency. Every attack does +1 damage to the target, so you're never ever going to hit a 0. Kind of cool. I really love how it feels like a small boost. Certainly a very much more significant boost to faster weapons than slow weapons, but it doesn't feel that crazy. When I think about that, it makes me think there's just an even better chance that it's going to be a fragment in itself, Why not just like equip a quick little fragment that does +1 damage for every single attack you do? You know, equip some knives. Maybe you have like a faster tick speed and you're just like constantly hitting at least ones, or, you know, +1 over what you're going to be doing anyway. Seems pretty sick. Sigil of the Formidable Fighter. Your melee accuracy is increased by +10 in stab/crush. And then on the successful hit, you have a 20% chance for the next hit to deal +5 damage. Interesting. Interesting. Not only does it increase your accuracy, but when you hit, you get extra damage on the very next hit. So you can see how that would be helpful. All right, Rigorous Ranger. Extra ranged accuracy and then 50% chance of saving ammo. We've seen stuff like that in leagues as well. Magic, the same thing. Saving runes. Sigil of Fortification. Your defense is +12 in all those things. Interesting. I guess if you're trying to tank, go ahead and take that. We're still in combat sigils. So Sigil of Barrows. Honestly, when someone in my chat told me that this was a thing, I literally thought that it was a joke. But the only thing that this does is that your Barrows armor never degrades. Doesn't seem insanely powerful. Sigil of Deft Strikes. You gain 20% more accuracy in all styles against all non-player enemies. I guess that'll let you, like, you know, tear through some PVM really fast. Sigil of Freedom is the next one. What is that symbol? Activate the sigil to break free from bind effects cast on you by players. Consumes the sigil upon activation. So you can just use this once if someone casts the bind on you or freezes you, and you can still get away. Pretty cool. But yeah, this is not coming over to League 3 because that's very PvP focused. Sigil of Enhanced Harvest. This is an example of one of these things that is really like what we had in League 3, but I think that are like way more interesting than what we had in leagues in the past. So check this out. You have a 50% chance to gain double resources from mining, fishing, woodcutting, or farming. I really like that all of these things are like a chance for things to happen rather than just it happens. It's double every single time. Now, obviously it's weaker, but it's more fun. Sigil of Storage. So, you know, another similar thing. You have a 50% chance to send your newly gathered resources to the bank when gathering with fishing, mining, woodcutting, or farming. I like that one a lot too, even though, you know, it changes the aspect of, you know, the bank relic. It changes it from being full AFK just like crazy to making your trips last, you know, double length if you use the 50% chance rule. I like it a lot. I think that's so cool. I think that adds strategy to the relic because either you can choose to bank just like normal and train your skills in a normal place, which is normally close to a bank, or you can take that slight hit you could take the sacrifice of gathering less resources, but whatever you get, you just drop what fills in your inventory so that you can keep gathering in a remote place. You know what I mean? And it's still quite AFK. So I'm all for this. I think that this is a way cooler thing than just banking 100% of stuff. And even if it's not 50%, even if it's banks 80%, I think this is so cool. Sigil of the Smith is when smelting ores, smithing bars, or making cannonballs, all items are processed at once. This is so cool. Just like reading these and like realizing that they are small, separated versions of more powerful relics of the past. This was like the artisan relic from Trailblazer, processing everything all at once. But this time, you know, you have to like manually equip it if you're going to be doing that thing rather than just like always passively happening it. It puts the player more in the driver's seat, makes them understand like what they're doing. You know, they have to make choices rather than just like always passively having this stuff. But yeah, if you're switching from, you know, fletching or whatever, you have to go into the bank, switch to the Sigil of the Smith for your cannonball grind that you're about to do. I think that's so cool. And not only that, but you have to go and get the sigil in the first place. Or if we're talking about League 3, you have to go get the relic in the first place. I don't know how they're going to hand out relics, but I have a feeling that it's going to be cooler than just what we have it in Deadman mode. In Deadman mode, we have to kill a bunch of monsters and hope for a sigil. Either that or you can just go to the Grand Exchange and buy them. But in Leagues 3, we're Iron Man, so we have to go get them ourselves. Either, no, I have a feeling that some things are going to be on drop tables. Some sigils. I'm mixing the words around now. Some relics, I think, are going to be from drop tables of monsters. But other things, other relic fragments, I bet you're going to have to, like, complete a certain challenge to get them. I'm guessing, though, that, like, they're not all going to be RNG-based. Maybe some of them, but not all of them. I would support that if they were RNG-based, though. I'd be into that. I'm pretty sure RNG just, like, psychologically makes everything fun. It's kind of a broken mechanic when it comes to designing things that are fun, you know? Roulette tables, use it. In the Leagues 3 design, are they going to make it so that to get combat enhancements, combat fragments, you have to go do a combat challenge or kill stuff? Or maybe in order to get a skilling fragment, it's an RNG drop like while you're skilling? I think that would be really cool. Sigil of the Alchemist. While cleaning herbs, they're all processed at once. Fletcher. Fletching logs, cutting bolt tips, all processed at once. Chef. Making jugs of wine, cooking food, all processed at once. You get it. We got the same thing for crafting. Not the same thing for rune crafting because that's normal for rune crafting. The thing that's different about rune crafting, which actually I have this one in game right now because it gave it to me for free. But you get ×5 as many runes produced when you're doing rune crafting. So suddenly it almost makes rune crafting actually viable, so that's kind of cool. And then you also get double the experience, so nice. Do you think that if I used my Sigil of the Abyss and went to the Arceus library that I would get double experience for library? So that's it for the blue tier 1 sigils. We're going into the yellow utility. Look at this. This is one of the perfect solutions to something that I've been thinking. I think that the infinite run relic is boring. So look at what this is instead. And I didn't even make a suggestion or anything, but I've always had that thought in my mind. I've thought that it was boring. The Sigil of Stamina makes it so that you are permanently under the effect of a stamina potion, which is not quite infinite run. And so I love that. I think that's so sick. I think that they should never do infinite run again. I think that it should always be the Sigil of Stamina instead. Sigil of the Potion Master. You have a 20% chance to not consume potions when you're using them. Oh, there's one extra thing that makes this cool. It's not just plus 20% potions. It's once this effect triggers, it can't trigger again for 6 seconds. So that's awesome. It adds a little bit of skill or a little bit of strategy to your potion consumption. Let me explain. If you're just spamming potions, you're going to get less mileage out of them than if you calmly wait 6 seconds between triggers. I think that's awesome. Great design. And I could see how, like, that's especially important in PvP compared to, you know, what we're going to be doing in Leagues 3. But it's still a thing. I love this. I think that's so cool. All right, we've had Eternal Jeweler before. Let me just make sure that this is the same thing. Teleporting via the following methods will never use any charges. Master Scroll Book, Ring of Dueling, Ring of Returning, Slayer Ring, Ring of Wealth, Amulet of Glory, Games Necklace, Skills Necklace, Dig Site Pendant, Combat Bracelet, and Necklace of Passage. Now, this is not quite the same thing as we got in Trailblazer. It's potentially a little weaker because in Trailblazer, you were provided with all the jewelry as well. This time, you still have to go get the jewelry, but once you have it, it should be infinite. Then again, you're able to lose items. You're able to lose items in Deadman mode. So it makes sense why they wouldn't just, like, provide you with the tools. Man, magic just crushes. Sigil of the Treasure Hunter. Sounds like a clue scroll one. Clue scrolls drop twice as often. That's it. Yeah, I'm into that. I think that, yeah, Deadman mode already has, like, other passive effects that amplify clue scrolls. So that's all this sigil needed to be. They didn't need to make it so that, like, you know, every clue scroll was the minimum step count or something like that. Even though that's helpful, it's already a thing in Deadman mode, so that explains why there's not more to this one. Sigil of Mobility. Okay, we've got the Law Rune symbol on it. Teleports do not consume runes and do not grant any experience. So you can't just, like, teleport to Camelot over and over and over again for free experience using, you know, just one rune. Sigil of Exaggeration. It's funny. All non-combat skills are permanently boosted by 5. Yeah, It's all right. I like how like none of these are like super overwhelming. I think it's awesome. That's every single tier 1 sigil that we've looked at so far. Now we're gonna look at the tier 2. I think that means that these are gonna get a little bit stronger. Tier 2s, potentially a little bit stronger, you know, depending on your activity, of course, but probably generally stronger. We've got Sigil of Specialized Strikes. Special attack that costs over 10 energy will have their energy cost reduced by 10. I love that. I love that. Significantly weaker than the whatever strikes one that we got in Trailblazer, which made everything use 20 energy. This is so good. I think it amplifies like the strategy that you can use for, you know, what choices that you want to make. It makes everything so much more interesting rather than if everything gets maxed out. Sorry, if every single special has a new maximum energy that they use, then attacks that use the most energy are amplified way more than any other kind of special attack. If you're only reducing them by 10, then you still have the balance in the game that it was originally designed with. Big special attack mean big power move, and it's still that way, but this fragment helps. This sigil helps. Sigil of the Porcupine, I'm very interested in Deadman mode. I can't see it being used in Leagues 3, and also look at that, like, icon. I love it. Activate the sigil to recoil 4 damage to your attacker for every hit you take. The effect lasts 30 seconds and has a 2-minute cooldown. Not a very long cooldown, and could help deter a PKer from coming after you. I love this for Deadman mode, but we won't look at it for, you know, any longer for this video. Sigil of Binding. Activate the sigil to get a 75% magic accuracy buff on your next binding spell within the next 12 seconds. If the bind was successful, the sigil has a 5-minute cooldown. If it was not successful, the sigil has a 1-minute cooldown. Interesting that it still has a cooldown even on a miss, because you're spending an entire slot to have this thing, but whatever. We're interested in Leagues 3, so we'll leave this one behind. Sigil of Escaping. Activate the sigil to get a 75% increased chance to resist the first bind effect. Okay, so it's the opposite. Nice, cool. The next 3 are the last combat relics of Tier 2. We've already looked at them at the beginning of this video. Okay, Tier 2 skilling sigils. Sigil of the Dwarves. I don't know what this does. 50% more experience in the following skills. The ones that you'd expect. Mining, smithing, construction, crafting. Cool. Sigil of the Elves. You get boosted experience in agility, fletching, hunter, and farming. Barbarians. This is so flavorful and cool. Fire making, fishing, herblore, and slayer. That's awesome. Sigil of Nature. You can choose your farming contracts. You know, we had that in Twisted. Cool to see it come back. A little bit weaker because that's all it does. Sigil of Devotion. Dropped bones are automatically buried. Ashes are automatically scattered. Prayer experience gained from these activities is doubled. Wow. I'm sitting here kind of like burying bones casually. That seems pretty cool. I like the diversity within those sigils. They don't pair up perfectly and give you variety, which is neat. I love it too. Sigil of the Forager. Doubled resources. Oh, you always get doubled resources from mining, fishing, woodcutting, and farming. Interesting. And this one is so interesting. When I first read this one, I thought this was like crazy. Not like crazy powerful, but crazy unique. Like it's a good idea. Sigil of Garments gives you the effect bonuses of every single skilling outfit. And I'm very intrigued by that. It makes me think that like the creativity is coming. That's interesting. All right, we're done with Tier 2 skilling. Let's go on to the yellow ones. I really love, you know, the color of this one. Sigil of Prosperity. You have a 20% increased chance to receive loot from the unique Deadman mode loot table. Crap, I need that one a lot. Sigil of Slaughter. Pay 30 Slayer points to choose your own Slayer task. That's so much cooler than whatever the other one was, where you always got to choose your own Slayer task. That introduces more strategy to it. I love that. You have a 25% chance for a Slayer task to not count towards the task while you're still gaining Slayer experience. Nice. And the sigil does not stack with any other bracelet effects. Cool. Okay, you know, safeguarding against that. This is excellent. I love the Sigil of Slaughter. Sigil of the Fortune Farmer is newly dropped clue scrolls are stackable. All right, so it came back. Sigil of Versatility. This just lets you instantly swap your spellbook while outside of combat. Okay. And I believe the Mage Cape still allows you to switch the spellbook like in combat. Sigil of the Serpent. What does this do? It cures venom and poison, and you gain immunity for both effects for 1 minute, and it's a 3-minute cooldown. All right. Sigil of Supreme Stamina? Activate the sigil to set your run energy to 100 and stop it from draining while running for the next minute. Okay, cool. You know, these are like way better ways to break down run energy than just like infinite run energy all the time. I think that this is an excellent evolution to thoughts that have been had in the past. Sigil of Preservation, boosted stats do not drain. So, reminiscent of what we've had in leagues before. Going on to the tier 3, again, red, less likely to be applicable to League 3, but this is an activate sigil to guarantee 100% accuracy on your next special attack. Cool. I could see how that works really well for PvP, and less well for leagues, but not necessarily awful for leagues. Probably just does like match up with the theme well enough for leagues though. Sigil of Pious Protection, is this prayer amplification? Decrease the amount, oh. I've read this one before. This is so interesting for PvP. Decrease the amount of damage you take from attacks of a given combat style by 30% when using the correct protection prayer for that style. Increase the damage you take by protecting against the wrong combat style by 40%. So you have to be good. And honestly, for this, I have no idea how someone would use this successfully, because I feel like I've played a little bit of LMS, and so I saw the RPS that you use and the double fakey switch weapons. You can never actually know what prayer your opponent's going to use if they're a really good PKer. If they're a noob, you can double fakey the amount and whatever and know what they're gonna do. But honestly, I know that this one isn't for me because I would just get destroyed. I would actively be amplifying their damage. You know what I mean? Oh, it could work really well on Corrupted Gauntlet. You're so right. Sigil of Aggression. All attacks deal 20% more damage, but you take 30% more damage from all sources. Crazy. You better rush, and you better rush good. Because in a straight up 1v1 fight, that's not great. If you've got a big rush or a big combo to hit, it could work. Could work. But Leagues 3, I don't think so. Sigil of Rampage. This one's so cool. So think about this in a PvM situation where you're switching your combat style all the time. Alternating combat styles will increase your Rampage count up to a maximum of 5. Consecutive attacks with the same style will reset the counter. Each Rampage count increases your damage and accuracy by plus 5%. Wild, honestly. I mean, I guess you could use it for PvM, probably. But you're gonna be just switching styles so much. It would be so much clicking just for a little PvM boost. It's wild though. Yeah, Sigil of the Chicago Bulls. That's all right. All right, what are the tier 3 skilling sigils? Sillage of the Skiller, double experience in all skills. That seems pretty good for Deadman mode right now, because Deadman mode, in order to get into the next bracket, you need to be in the top 2,000 on the high scores of total skill. So I can only imagine that this is a very expensive sigil. Did I say Sillage? Hope not. That seems weird. I said Sillage of the Skiller. Oh, all right. Sigil of Remote Storage. I can only imagine that this is 100% bank, automatic, whatever. Yep, it is. Mining, fishing, woodcutting, farming are automatically sent to your bank. Yep. Tier 3, there you go. All right, that's it for the tier 3 skill sigils. So what's the utility ones? All right, this is the sigil that I was most excited to talk about and see. Sigil of Last Recall. The MVP of Trailblazer. Literally the MVP of Trailblazer, Last Recall. Made everyone play, got everyone really excited, got everyone really satisfied with the things that they were doing, made people really excited for runecrafting. The Sigil of Last Recall is a little bit different than Last Recall, though. Activate the sigil to teleport back to the location from which your most recent teleport occurred. Sounds the same? Once activated, the sigil has a 5-minute cooldown. Very different from Last Recall from Trailblazer. There was no cooldown in Trailblazer. So some things become less less useful. So Cerberus, you could use Last Recall to abuse his mechanics, her mechanics, whatever. Other places that you can use Last Recall are still the same. Potentially God Wars if you can last there for long enough, which you probably should be able to, you know, last over 5 minutes and then just like go back. So it's very different. It still has a lot of the same uses, but it's a little bit weaker. And I love that. I really think that Last Recall needs a nerf, and this is an excellent nerf. We'll see how this changes things, but I'm really happy for this one. Yeah, it's still great for longer PVM. It doesn't, yeah, it's not an incredibly annoying nerf even. So there you go, Last Recall. And then after that, we just have one more Sigil. Sigil of the Guardian Angel, which this one's DMM exclusive. Death does not consume a life. There's a life system in Deadman mode. Instead of taking a life from you, it takes this Sigil, and then they still get to like loot your stuff. So, you know, whatever. So there you go. What did you guys think about the Sigils and their chances to become relic fragments in Leagues 3? I think that there's an excellent chance for a lot of these to just be like ported directly over. Directly. And I'm absolutely in love with the concept of having weaker relics. I was already excited when I heard the concept of relic fragments as opposed to just full relics when Leagues 3 was announced. But now that we can see the Sigils and the creativity involved with them, and just like the weak things, the weak amplifications that they give, I'm even more excited. Like, this is great. I love the design of this. And if you're going to be able to stack them up in Leagues 3 and then get set effects on top of it, Leagues 3 is going to be super fun. I can already tell. This is going to be awesome. So there you go. Leave a comment. Tell me what you think about relics. What's your favorite relic that you think? No. Which Sigil's most likely to come over to Leagues 3? Thank you for watching. Have a great day. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.